Hey everyone! Ever wonder how a tiny seed turns into a huge tree? Or how those annoying mosquitoes transform from, well, whatever it is they start out as?
It's amazing what we take for granted in the natural world,
That's
right?
totally. And that's what we're diving into today. The fascinating world of living creatures and their incredible life cycles.
And to guide us on this adventure, we're going back to basics with a sixth grade science textbook.
Don't let that fool you, though. Even the simple stuff can be mind-blowing when you really dig in.
Absolutely. There's so much complexity hidden in plain sight.
Speaking of hidden complexity, the textbook kicks off with the story about two kids finding a snail shell.
Right. And it gets them thinking, what makes something truly alive? Like, is the shell alive, or is it only alive if there's a snail actually inside?
It's a question we don't often think about, but it's kind of profound when you do.
Totally. We often associate being alive with movement, but it's obviously more than that.
Yeah, my car moves, but I don't think it's about to sprout leaves anytime soon.
Exactly. So the textbook breaks down these key characteristics of living things, and movement is definitely part of it,
But there's got to be more to it than just, going from point A to point B.
right? Living things need to take in nutrients to fuel their bodies. They need to grow and develop. They need to reproduce and create new generations.
And let's not forget, they need to get rid of waste. Even the prettiest flower has to deal with that, right?
Exactly. Every living thing, from a tiny bacterium to a giant whale, shares these fundamental characteristics.
It's like this amazing club, but with really specific entry requirements.
And one of the coolest entry requirements is the ability to respond to stimuli. You touch something hot, you pull your hand away.
Right, or a plant senses sunlight and grows towards it. It's like this constant conversation with their environment.
Precisely. And that responsiveness is key to survival. It's how living things adapt to their surroundings and thrive.
Okay, so we've got this checklist for life. But what about something like a seed? Is it alive if it's just sitting there, not doing much of anything?
Ah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to answer it, we need to explore the incredible world of dormancy and the hidden potential within even the tiniest seed. So picture this, right? A tiny plant all bundled up like it's ready for a nap, just waiting for the right moment to spring into action. That's a seed for you.
Okay, I like that. A tiny plant taking a power nap. So what's it take to wake this little guy up? Is it all about the sunshine?
Well, the textbook lays out this really cool experiment with bean seeds, where they basically get put through a boot camp of different conditions.
Oh, like a seed obstacle course. Sign me up. What kind of challenges are we talking about here?
So they've got different pots with different setups, right? Some seeds get sunshine, some are kept in the dark, some get watered, others are left completely dry.
It's like Survivor, but for seeds. I'm on the edge of my seat here. Who's going to thrive and who's going to wither?
Well, you'd think sunlight would be non-negotiable for a plant, right?
Mm.
But here's the thing. The bean seeds that were kept in the dark, they sprouted just fine, as long as they had that moist soil.
Whoa, wait a minute. Seriously. That's wild. They don't even need sunshine to get going. So it's more about the water then.
It's like they've got this backup plan, just in case. But here's the other thing. Even though those seeds in the dark sprouted, they weren't exactly in a rush to grow leaves. It's all about timing, right?
So they're playing the long game, eh? Biding their time until they hit the jackpot. Sunshine. But hold on a sec. If these bean seeds can sprout without any sunlight at all, does that mean all seeds are the same?
That's a great question, and it's what makes the plant world so amazing. Turns out there are some seeds that are total sun worshipers. They need that light to even think about germinating. And then you've got the others that are all about that dark, mysterious vibe. They actually need the darkness to get going.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like some seeds are introverts and some are, well, the life of the party. Okay, so we've got seeds sprouting up all over the place, some in the sunshine, some in the dark. But how in the world do they know which way to grow? It seems so obvious, roots down, shoots up.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be simple, but it's actually pretty mind-blowing when you think about it, right? The textbook talks about this experiment where they literally hang a seedling upside down.
Wait, what? They hung a seedling upside down? That seems kind of mean. What were they trying to prove?
No plants were harmed in the making of this scientific discovery. But seriously, they wanted to see if the seedling would get confused, start growing every which way. But guess what?
Don't tell me. The little seedling still managed to grow the right way. Roots down, shoots up.
You got it. It's like they have this inner compass, this knowing, even when the world is literally upside down. Gravity, my friend. It's not just a good idea, it's the law. and plants have figured out a way to use it to their advantage.
That's amazing. So they're basically using an invisible force to guide their growth. I've got to hand it to plants. That's pretty genius. Speaking of genius, the textbook mentions this scientist who invented this super high-tech device to study how plants respond to stuff, right?
Oh yeah, Jagadish Chandra Bose, a total pioneer. He created this thing called a crescograph, and get this, it could measure even the tiniest movements in plants.
Whoa, are we talking like microscopic movements here?
Exactly, changes in response to light, heat, even electricity. It's like he found a way for plants to communicate their secrets to us.
A plant whisperer. That's amazing. Okay, so we've talked about seeds, sprouting, gravity-defying growth, and even plant whispering. But I'm curious what happens next in this grand adventure of plant life.
Well, hold on to your hats, because things are about to get a whole lot more glamorous than roots and gravity. We're talking flowers, fruits, the whole shebang.
Okay, so our little seedlings are all grown up. They've got their roots down. Their shoots are reaching for the sky. They're soaking up that sunshine. What's the grand finale? What's a plant's version of a victory dance?
Well, for a lot of plants, it's time to put on a show, and I'm talking about flowers. Those vibrant colors, those amazing scents. It's like nature's way of saying, hey, look at me.
Right. It's like they're dressing to impress, but it's not just about looking pretty, is it? There's got to be a purpose behind all that floral fabulousness.
Oh, absolutely. Flowers are all about ensuring the survival of the species. Think of them like, those billboards you see advertising stuff. But instead of selling products, they're sending out a very specific message. Pollinators, welcome.
So it's like a giant singles mixer, but for plants. And instead of awkward small talk, they're offering up nectar and pollen.
Exactly. It's all about attracting those bees, butterflies, even bats sometimes, to help them spread the love, or rather, the pollen. And when that pollen from one flower hitches a ride over to another flower, boom, fertilization.
And then the magic really happens, right? I'm talking about fruits.
Got it. Fruits are like those little gift baskets that plants put together. And inside each one, you guessed it, more seeds. It's like the circle of life playing out right before our eyes, but with, a side of deliciousness.
I love how everything in nature seems to come full circle. But it's not just plants that go through these incredible transformations, is it? Remember those mosquitoes we were talking about?
Oh, yeah, those guys. Talk about a dramatic makeover. They go through this whole metamorphosis thing, just like butterflies. Starting out as those tiny eggs laid on water, then hatching into, those little wriggly things you see in ponds and puddles.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's kind of gross, but also kind of cool how they just, appear out of nowhere.
Right. Those are mosquito larvae. They hang out in the water, doing their thing, but then they disappear.
They do, don't they? It's like they pull a vanishing act. Where do they go?
Well, they're not really gone. They're just going through their awkward teenage phase. It's called the pupa stage. They're encased in these little cocoons, and inside, it's like a total renovation project is going on. They're trading in their swimming gear for wings and developing, shall we say, a taste for adventure.
And a taste for,
Exactly.
Yeah.
They emerge from that pupa stage as full-fledged adult mosquitoes ready to fly, bite, and most importantly, continue the cycle. And understanding how this whole life cycle works, that's key to keeping those pesky mosquitoes in check.
It's like the more we know about how they live and transform, the better equipped we are to, coexist or at least minimize the bites.
Absolutely. And speaking of incredible transformations, have you ever seen a tadpole turn into a frog? Talk about mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie. 1 minute you've got this little swimming comma with a tail, and the next thing you know, it's hopping around on land, catching flies with its tongue.
It's pretty remarkable when you think about it. Those tadpoles, they start out with gills, just like fish. But as they grow, they develop lungs so they can breathe air. And that tail that helps them navigate their watery world, it gradually gets reabsorbed by the body.
No more swimming lessons needed. That's amazing. And it just goes to show the natural world is full of these incredible transformations, these cycles of life and renewal. Who knew you could learn so much from a 6th grade science textbook, right?
We often take the world around us for granted, but when we stop and really look, really pay attention, it's full of wonder and amazement.
Totally. So the next time you see a seed or a mosquito or even a frog, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey they've been on and the intricate web of life that connects us all.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to continue your own explorations of the natural world. Thanks for joining us in this deep dive. Until next time.
Happy exploring, everyone.